Hi everyone, my name is Nigel Silito and I'm here with Tom Bignell, who is the Financial Services Partner at Pinsent Masons, the global law firm, and we're here in their office in Dubai. So thank you, Tom, for agreeing to be interviewed today. And what we're going to do over the next 7 minutes or so is look at the proposed new regulations from the Insurance Authority and what the impact might be on different stakeholders. So Tom, it's pretty groundbreaking, and obviously one of the things that comes out from this new proposal is that there will be a cap on the amount of commissions paid by product providers such as insurance companies to brokers. So perhaps you could, in just layman's terms for starters, explain what these regulations might mean and when they will be introduced.
So the new regulation is filling quite a big gap that we had in the market, wherein if you were being sold a financial product as a retail customer, there was really no rules around how a person went about selling that to you. Mm-hmm. So in terms of what they disclosed, how they could be remunerated for it, and what you understood as the terms of the product. So that really changes that, because all of a sudden we have a very comprehensive framework that's going to govern all those aspects of the sale process and what that product needs to include within its terms as well. Okay. It's going to be due to come into effect probably April, May time. It was gazetted in the end of October, so generally 6 months from there is when we'd look at it being released and becoming effective in the market. Okay,
brilliant. And what do you think will be the implications of these new regulations on three different stakeholders? First of all, UAE residents. Secondly, financial advisors regulated by the Insurance Authority, and thirdly, the insurance companies regulated by the Insurance Authority. So why don't we kick off first with UAE residents or consumers? I presume this is going to be good news for them?
I think so. I think anything that, from a consumer's perspective, that gives you a form of protection is a good thing. I think that's balanced with the fact that, like any new set of rules that are quite comprehensive, we'll need to see how they play out. And hopefully what it doesn't mean is reduce the different products available in the market and the advice. But I think we would all say it's a good thing to have people selling us what is a complex product to have to adhere to quite a few rules around that. Okay. The next category of people, the brokers, the Insurance Authority, this is definitely would be the stakeholders that are hit the strongest, I would say. There are quite a strong view in the market that this is quite a draconian step. I think we take a step back from that and say, what we would all recognise is there's been some bad actors in the market over the last few years. You and I discussed this at length. There's definitely a need to protect people from them. But that said, it will be tough medicine, let's say, for some of the market participants who have done a good job for the most part. I think, as you said, the commission cap is the kind of headline issue that they're faced with having to deal with, because it means fundamentally restructuring how they're going to remunerate their sales staff, and that changes the economics, let's face it, of being a financial advisor. The third group would be the product issuers.
These are the insurance companies, yeah?
Precisely, as we would know as layman's terms, the insurers. So I think the impact for them is that they will rely on financial advisors as being their primary sales staff. So whatever impacts on them is going to impact the product issuer. There are requirements that are going to dictate how their terms are set out, and as I said, how they're going to go about remunerating their distribution sales force.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And what about this rumour that, because there are quite a few regulators here in the UAE, 5, what about the rumour that the Insurance Authority and ESCA might be merging at some point in the near future?
It's an interesting one. You hear rumours like this every few years. This one is backed by a government resolution saying that they will formally investigate it, and so that's really what we're relying on at the moment. Is not that it's going to happen, but that the various stakeholders have been charged with investigating whether it's feasible and what will actually be the result of it. Do I think it's a good idea? I think on the one hand, as you noted, one could say we have quite a fragmented financial services regime in terms of the various authorities. But also that's not a bad thing, because then they are very industry focused. We have an insurance authority for insurance. We have ESCA for foreign securities. We have a central bank for banks. Maybe there's some economies of scale that can be realized by combining one or more of them, but I think there still has to be that element of being industry focused, because it means I think you're a much more meaningful regulator, because there's always the need to protect the consumer, but you also have to encourage and develop a sustainable market in terms of the participants in it, and you can't just over-regulate them or come up with regulation that's unsuitable.
Okay, great. And just the final question, when I walk around Dubai, I sometimes see advertisements from firms that aren't regulated here. They might have companies set up in a free zone, and they may even be regulated by the FCA back in the UK. But given that they are often promoting their brand and products to investors and not professional investors, what can be done to stop this practice? Because it's something that really irks me, given that we are also behind this whichfinancialadvisor.com, which is trying to make sure people are pushed towards qualified advisors from regulated firms. Are they actually in breach of any local laws here, these firms that are advertising on Sheikh Zayed Road or maybe at an offshore sailing club when they aren't particularly licensed or regulated by the insurance authority or ESCA?
Yes, they are. Their answers, and they are breaching financial services rules, which says you can't conduct those activities without a license from a local regulator. And that's very important, because first of all, at the consumer level, it means if you're sold one of these products, as you said, maybe these chaps are FCA regulated, which is the UK regulator, but that doesn't provide you with recourse on the ground here. The other side is that obviously there's a lot of market participants who do adhere to quite a complex compliance framework in the UAE, who have spent the time and resources to do it, and they lose out because of these other people just coming into the markets, with a suitcase and selling the product. So it's bad for both the consumers and for the UAE's domestic financial services industry. Okay,
great. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate that, Tom. And if you do enjoy this video, then please remember to share and like it. And again, Tom, I'd like to thank you not just for your time today, but also for the support for our whichfinancialadvisor.com. So thank you very much, and see you on the next video.